After a 13-27 season, the Chicago Sky have decided to fire Reese Witherspoon. In the words of Vince McMahon, "You're fired!"
Reese Angel was let go, and even the most loyal fans couldn't overlook the team's dismal 13-27 record. The chemistry on the squad was broken, and for a city passionate about its sports, this wasn't just another loss. It felt like a punch to the gut. The self-proclaimed face of women's basketball lost her cool as chaos engulfed the Chicago Sky. What was supposed to be a season of hope quickly turned into a disaster, unpredictable and wild.
Players and other teams say I wish we drafted you.
Really?
Yes. Like teams that have drafted that were above me, that the players that got drafted above, and it was nothing against their rookies that got drafted, but they were like, I wish we were teammates. I wish we drafted you.
Teresa Weatherspoon, a WNBA legend, was supposed to be the one to lead the Chicago Sky to a brighter future. But then there was Reese. Her on-court behavior and off-court confidence left fans torn. Some cheered for her, while others were left frustrated. She was meant to be the one to rebuild the struggling team, the one who would give Chicago hope again. Instead of sparking a turnaround, her leadership seemed to do the opposite, stirring up locker room drama and leading to questionable coaching decisions.
Is Angel Reese, did she just run a coach out of town, and is she running a player out of town? Their best shooter out of town? Because Kennedy Carter looks like she's ready to book it out of Chicago.
In an interview, Reese confidently claimed that in 20 years, she would be remembered as one of the key figures in the rise of women's basketball. But right now, the fan base is left broken, wondering where it all went wrong. This isn't just about stats or game results. It's a story of shattered dreams and lost hope.
Now, Marina Mabrey, she's already flown the coop on this team, and it was quote-unquote because of culture. Well, what happened to the culture? Who torched the culture? Who's selfish on the team that would cause the culture to melt down?
On her podcast, Reese boldly claimed that several WNBA teams that passed on her during the draft had reached out to apologize, a statement many listeners viewed with doubt. During a game, her controversial flagrant foul on Caitlin Clark sparked even more criticism. Reese defended the play, saying it was an attempt to go for the ball and suggested the referees were giving Clark special treatment. However, social media quickly shot down her excuses, calling them embarrassing and blaming her actions for contributing to the team's poor chemistry. Video footage also told a different story.
When Tyler Marsh did the press conference, he talked about Angel Reese, he talked about Cardoso, who I think is going to be a star in the WNBA, but he did not really mention Kennedy Carter at all, and that raised a lot of eyebrows.
The Chicago Sky are falling apart faster than their 13-27 record shows. What was once a team full of promise is now sinking in dysfunction. At the center of the chaos is Angel Reese, whose presence has reportedly turned the locker room into a war zone. Their top scorer, Kennedy Carter, who averaged 17.5 points per game last season, now seems more focused on Twitter polls than on the playbook.
Angel Reese is now quoted as saying, I'll look back in 20 years and be like, yeah, the reason why we're watching women's basketball is not just because of one person. She refuses to say Caitlin Clark's name. It's because of me too.
Players like Camila Cardoso struggled to find stable roles, and their potential was largely ignored, suggesting that Reese's individual stats were taking priority over the team's success. One veteran player even anonymously remarked that it was clear who Weatherspoon was trying to please, and it wasn't the team. The dysfunction seemed to escalate when the Sky traded Marina Mabrey, a mid-season addition known for her shooting and defense, to the Connecticut Sun under unclear circumstances. While Mabrey didn't directly criticize the Sky, her comments about the Sun's professional environment spoke volumes. She emphasized how players in Connecticut could focus solely on basketball, which seemed to be a clear jab at the chaos she left behind in Chicago.
The Chicago Sky franchise has been an absolute dumpster fire since winning the WNBA championship in 2021. Let's go through some of the names that have left. James Wade, who was the coach and GM left in the middle of the season last year to go to the NBA.
In interviews after the season, players painted a grim picture of the year. Younger players expressed frustration over the lack of direction and clarity on core team values, like maintaining discipline, while veterans questioned Weatherspoon's leadership. By the end of the season, on-court discipline was often missing, and the divisions in the locker room were too clear to ignore. Now that Weatherspoon is no longer the head coach, the Sky are left to pick up the pieces from a disaster season. It's uncertain if Angel Reese will remain part of their plans, but for now, her time in Chicago stands as a cautionary tale about the dangers of individual ambition overshadowing team unity. Instead of a fresh start, Reese's influence was prominently seen amidst the chaos as the Skies spiraled into total pandemonium.
Candace Parker, Emma Messman, Courtney Vandersloot, Allie Quigley, Clea Copper was traded, Lazora Stevens. And then this year, after drafting Cardozo and Reese, they were competing for a playoff spot and traded Marina Mabrey, their veteran, before the Olympic break.
In January, restricted free agent Kennedy Carter didn't hold back on social media, asking fans to choose her next team. She posted, "You'll be coaches and GMs anyway, let's see what you think." The response was immediate. While some fans criticized Chicago's leadership, others mocked her for airing the team's dirty laundry, joking that it felt like a Real Housewives WNBA edition episode. Carter wasn't the only one to leave. Marina Mabrey, who averaged 15.4 points per game last season, also departed mid-season, citing cultural concerns. After the Chicago Sky's championship win in 2021, Candace Parker left for a better opportunity in Las Vegas, and Teresa Weatherspoon left after just one season as head coach, allegedly losing the locker room by focusing on a small group of players. Now, Tyler Marsh is stepping in, using his recent press conference to clear the air. He praised Aaliyah Boston and Angel Reese, highlighting their potential, and called Camila Cardoso a rising star. However, his vague comments on Carter were less reassuring. While he referred to Carter as a major catalyst for the team's success last season, he avoided committing to her future with the team, leaving many fans uncertain.
However, new Sky coach Tyler Marsh was asked about whether he sees Kennedy Carter in the big part of what he's doing in the future during an appearance on the Athletic Women's Basketball Show. Quote, "In regards to Kennedy, she's a great player. She was a huge catalyst to what last year's team was able to do and accomplish. And obviously, she's slated to be a free agent."
Reese isn't making things any easier. While her impressive stats, 16.8 points and 10.6 rebounds per game, prove she's a dominant force on the court, her reported role in the locker room conflicts has only added to the turmoil. The Chicago Sky are in freefall, and rumors of favoritism are only making things worse, with teammates questioning whether the team is prioritizing talent over team unity. Tyler Marsh's reluctance to address Kennedy Carter's situation